As usual, before we begin, I just want to briefly draw your attention to the risk disclosure. As you know, trading is risky, and please make sure you read the full risk disclosure at the bottom of this video. Today, as we are coming to the end of a rather interesting year, 2019, we have got about a week or so to go. I just want to reflect a little bit on what we have learned, and certainly what I have learned of working with my clients, which really gives me the opportunity to test the theory and the learning I am having every day in every way and in all aspects of life. It's really, I think sometimes I'm really very, very privileged being able to work with small groups of traders and investors, by the way, and working with clients one-on-one. Now, there is no doubt about it that our brains have started to work very, very differently. That's point number one. It is causing a lot of consternation all across the board, and only one brief look around you will show you that I am right. Now, what is happening here is, of course, that the vast majority of people really do not understand what really is happening to them. Yet everybody now knows things are different. Everybody understands that the system is, if I hesitate a little bit using the words at a breaking point, but that's, the best word that comes to mind. That, by the way, needn't be catastrophic, as certain parts of the media would like us to believe, but it certainly pertains to the fact that we are at the end of things that used to serve us for some time, on the face of it at least, very, very well. It's also becoming very apparent that we have reached a level of disconnect, not from reality, rather from the essence of who we are. And that disconnect has become so wide. This is why we are seeing the cracks appearing everywhere. The rubber band is stretched to extremes, and it is absolutely vital that we take heed, that we notice this, that we do not go back to the old ways of doing things, because that's over. Guys, that is absolutely over. And if you think that you have limitations, and the limitations are coming from your inability to control and discipline your mind into trading in certain ways, and that's just one aspect of life, which, by the way, would repeat itself in other areas, well, you are quite mistaken. What you are seeing here is a reflection in the universe. Basically, what you see on the outside of your world is just a reflection. It's a mirror of what is going on inside. Now, and the mirror is showing you that you have moved way, way, way too far away from the actual operating modus of the universe. So the universe ultimately is a place of cooperation. It is a place of harmony, and it is a place of constant creativity. The universe is not a place of competition. It is not a place of one-upmanship, and it's not a place of stagnation. In fact, any form of stagnation, we know that from many scientific experiments, causes decay and death. In other words, we absolutely and totally rely on this constant movement of energy in our bodies, in our minds, and of course in the universe around us. Yet we have come to believe not only that we can forecast everything in a precise manner, which, by the way, we also know from quantum physics and the many experiments, which some of which I am showing in my a new course, From Human Mind to Divine Mind, which is due to be scheduled to come out in January 2020. So we know that there is an element of surprise in every aspect of our lives. You cannot fully predict. And if you are predicting something that is going to happen, what you are doing, you are operating in the realm of the known. That is not operating in harmony and in alignment with universal law. In fact, it is exactly the opposite. So now that we have established this, we are way, way, way out of alignment with the universe. That's good to know, because we need to know exactly where we stand right now in order to develop new models of operating in the future. And those of you who have followed me for a long time will know that this is what I am all about. For me, the biggest and most important modality moving forward into a new future, creating a more joyful way of trading, a more enjoyable way of leading our lives, is understanding two things. The one thing is that everything is connected, and the other thing is that the heart energy, which is, by the way, 5,000 times more powerful than the mental energy, the mind energy alone, because that's the magnetic part of the heart. The heart is magnetic, the brain is predominantly, the mind is predominantly electric, the brain that is part of the mind. I want to be choosing my words very carefully here, because mind ultimately is non-local. It's in the field. So we have to bring these two elements together. And when we bring them together and use our thinking from that premise and make it the dominant departure from which all our strategies then develop further, well, we are going to create a very, very different future. We are going to create from fluidity and, as the word create says, from our inner creativity. Fluidity and vision are the hallmarks of divine mind. Planning, controlling, judging, analyzing, criticizing, evaluating, backtesting, re-evaluating are all the domains of the human mind. They are the domain of the linear mind. Now, I invite you to go beyond the linear mind. I invite you to take the step from human mind to divine mind. This is where we are all going in 2020. Make no mistake, there is no lag time. We have been playing in these energies, of these major transition energies, which came into full force actually starting in the 50s. In the 60s, there was a very, very powerful wave that brought it all to the surface, the hippie movement and peace movements, which were going on in England, in various other parts of the world, demonstrations and things like this, because suddenly there was this impulse of something new being possible. Then everything slowed down again, and then we've had, since the beginning around the year 2000, that something else has been happening, and we are now at the apex of this major transitional shift, which is all in all going to last approximately 80 to 100 years before it is fully aligned, because we are talking a much bigger cycle, as those of you who follow me will know. Now, it's very exciting, because we are at this apex. In the beginning of January, the training wheels, guys, are coming off. And by that, I mean the old things, which sort of kind of still worked, are working less and less and less well. So we have no choice. If we want to have lives that flow, lives that are empowering, lives that are of joy, of adventure, and new experiences, we have to operate in new ways. And that is my message to you today. Please take this on board, and please embrace it with your heart. join my mailing list. Details are below. If you like this video, as always, I invite you to share it, like it, and don't forget also to press the notification button if you want to be informed of a new video. Wishing you all very well, and I look forward to sharing more with you about exciting projects coming up next year very soon.